listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network. Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe Lapinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Bishop Samuel Blakes, and you're listening to Real Talk with Mary Jae.
Talk with Mary Jae, all the way from New Orleans, NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. I am your host, Mary Jae. Thank you to all of my listening audience all around the world. I hope you're having a happy Merry Monday today. I am having a happy Merry Monday. We are still in the month of October. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are still celebrating and paying tribute to all of our breast cancer survivors all month long. I salute you on today. You are a soldier. Yes, you are a warrior, and I salute you on today. So let's keep in mind health, healing, and hygiene as we move forward. We're going to keep in mind focusing on those things that we know that are good for us, those things that we know that we have to do to take extra precautions, to do preventative measures to stop breast cancer from attacking our bodies, and colon cancer and prostate cancer. So let's focus in on cancer on today. Okay, we're going to drive it in a little harder on today. We had on last week a phenomenal guest, Dr. Christopher Sylvain, that shared with us as it relates to all of those ugly eating habits, all of those foods that lead to cancer, because we fill our bodies with all of these toxins and it leads to cancer. So, over the period of years, you already know that we know tobacco causes cancer, alcohol causes cancer, and of course, chemicals. Okay, that's what we've known all our lives, right? But there are some foods that cause cancer too, when we put it all in our body, all of those toxins, those preservatives, those additives, all of the stuff that the chemists do to make the food to have a longer shelf life, that they would put all of these ingredients that have cancer causing agents. So let's stay away from all of the processed meats. We know that processed foods, I've come to discover that it causes cancer as well, such as sausages, wieners, that kind of thing, pepperonis. We've learned that on the show. Okay, knowledge is power. So when we know better, we're going to try to do better. I know a lot of you may be a big foodie like myself, because I love to eat. But, when we think about our bodies holistically, and begin to be health conscious of those things that will affect us down the line. Because right now, I'm in a good state. And I'm in a good place in my life. I'm 51, okay, and I've lived a healthy life for the most part. And I thank God, okay? Thank God. I'm not bragging, but I do thank God, because I know at any time, just like it came knocking at your door, it can come knocking at mine as well. So I want to make sure that we have the knowledge that we need, that we have the information that we need. Ladies, that we get our breast examinations too, that we do those annual breast exams. You have to check up annually and do your mammograms. Make sure that you get that done. If you are 40 and over, consult your PCP or your gynecologist and ask about getting your breast examination. Okay, I know you visit your doctor, but we have a lot of ladies that don't visit our doctors annually because of fear, because of lack of finances, what have you, even a lack of faith for some of us, because some people, I've heard, ladies, that some people will actually say they don't want to know. I've heard ladies say, I'd rather not know. I'd rather know. Where there's knowledge, there's power. And when you apply the knowledge that you have, that's when you really receive the knowledge, the power rather, when you really apply the knowledge that you have. So get those annual mammograms done. And do your breast examinations. Make sure that you do your monthly breast examination, your self-exams, every month after your menstrual cycle. The first day of your menstrual cycle, when it first goes up, begin to check around the breast, all the way under the underarm, all the way underneath, go up higher, and then come in a circular motion all the way around into the inner part of the areola of your breast. Make sure you do that and feel and see if something is not right, if it's not looking right, if it's not feeling right to you, if that's something that is unusual and you know it's not what you had before. That's a good indication that you need to go and have that checked. Okay, so some of you may be like me. For the most part, I used to think, well, I don't know how it's supposed to feel. Like, what am I looking for? You know, because when we have the little breast examinations that we see in school, those of you that have gone through physical education where they did that long time ago, or even nursing school, like I was in nursing school once upon a time, or even in your doctor's office, they have those little molds on the desk, and you would feel around that, and you feel these little tiny beads, right? But you're feeling for something that is a little bit abnormal, some fatty tissue maybe, knots maybe. You know, I told the ladies on my last show that I felt a knot in my chest, and you know, it was sore. So it, you know, I started getting a little concerned, like, what's going on? I never felt that. That's when you know your body, when you're used to touching and feeling to make sure that everything is okay. So I had this unusual knot, and I went to follow up with a breast examination, professional breast examination. And the doctor was like, where are you feeling? Where are you talking about? And I touched, and I'm like, it's right here. She was like, well, go on the other side. Do you feel the same thing on that side? I was like, yes, I do. She said, girl, that's muscle mass. Have you been working out? So we have to understand that sometimes it may be muscle mass, sometimes it may be fatty tissue, but I don't care, whatever it is. If it's not supposed to be there, if you never felt it before, go and have it check out, right? It wouldn't hurt to just have it check out. So thank God it was only muscle mass, but I'm saying all of that to say, don't second question it. Don't doubt yourself. If you have to be concerned about it, if it's something that you're not sure of, go and have a breast examination done, okay? You can also go to St. Thomas. St. Thomas is one of the clinics here in the city. Great doctors there. I know some of the doctors there, as well as the staff is great staffing there. You can go there and have a breast examination. I'm not sure if they still do the free breast examinations, but I do know that it's income-based as well. So for those that may be having some financial issues as it relates to insurance, call around, Google. You know, there's so much that is available to us. Call Breast Cancer Society, American Breast Cancer Society, and find out if they have a list of free clinics if you have some insurance issues. Okay, I wanted to give you that information because it's so important, ladies, that we take care of ourselves, that we know our bodies, and even with knowing your body, it still can happen. So you just have to make sure that you are aware of what's happening, and then you take the extra step. Don't just know what's happening and do absolutely nothing about it, okay? So we want to make sure that we get our annual breast exams, do our self breast examinations, and also to do our annual checkups, ladies, okay? Our pelvic exam, our pap smears, make sure we do our cultures, make sure we have those things done. And then at the age of 50, make sure that you go do your colonoscopy. Make sure you get those things done. Stop putting it off. Your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit lives inside of you, you know? So you cannot keep putting these things off when you know you haven't done it. Go and do it, all right? You tuned in to Real Talk with Mary Jae. I'm coming to you live all the way from New Orleans TalkNetwork.com. I am your host, Mary Jae. We're getting ready to go into a quick break right now, but we don't want you to go anywhere. Why don't you go and like and share? Invite someone to come into this room as we talk about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Listen, we're going war on cancer. Yes, we're bringing in some powerful, strong cancer survivors that have dealt with it, that have punched cancer, kicked cancer in the butt, and is still going strong, okay? We want you to tune in with us. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
Hi, I'm Prophetess Charlene Duforce.
And I'm Bishop Carol Duforce Sr.
And we're from Living Witnesses Ministries.
And we also have a program on the internet called Living by the Word Daily. And we're seen every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Central Time on the New Orleans Talk Network.
And we would like to invite you to tune in with us every Wednesday morning. Again, 11 to 12 noon Central Daylight Time. Please join us as we teach the Word of God. Thank you, and God bless.
God bless you.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
I am your host, Mary Jae, on NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We are celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month all month long, and I told you, ladies, that look, we're going to war on cancer. We're definitely kicking cancer in the butt. Yes, cancer has to get behind us and get out of the way, because we have a powerful sister in the studio with us on today. Dr. Glenda Williams is sharing with us. Welcome, woman of God.
Thank you so much.
I am so excited that you are here to celebrate with us, to celebrate all of those breast cancer survivors, and just to bring awareness to the people.
Yes.
As it relates to breast cancer, you look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. You always look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. We're thinking pink on today. We have our pink on today. So, Dr. G, welcome to Real Talk with Mary Jae once again.
Yes.
Always glad to have you on the show.
Always glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you for coming. Listen, we're talking about Breast Cancer Awareness Month as it relates to our ladies empowering women from all walks of life all around the world, and also also our men.
Yes.
Because we know that men battle with cancer.
Yes, they do.
Because I wanted to take it a step further on the show.
Yes.
Not to just focus in only on breast cancer, but cancer, period.
Yes.
Because I cannot stand that ugly monster.
Oh, I can't
Ooh,
either.
ooh.
I can't either.
Yes, yes. So, you know, many years ago, Dr. G, cancer was considered the C word.
Yes.
The word that nobody wanted to talk about.
Yes.
We have generation after generations that may
That is
have
correct.
endured, struggled. Some have gone on and some have the victory, but they keep it silent.
Yes.
And I believe that knowledge is power. When we let our voices be heard
Yes.
and we speak up and speak out,
Exactly.
we can equip and encourage and empower someone else. So I am
Exactly.
so glad to have you
Yes.
on the show
Thank
with
you
us
so
today.
much. I'm excited to be here to be able to share my story.
Yes, let's talk about your story. Let's talk about your journey, because I understand that you have endured to the end.
Yes.
You have gone through some battles.
Yes, I have.
You punched the devil in the face. You've given him a black eye
I
over
love
and
it.
over. You know, look at you. You're sitting here looking
Thank you.
fabulous.
Thank you.
Know?
Thank you.
And he has continued to attack as it relates to cervical cancer,
Yes.
colon cancer.
Yes.
Let's tell the people about your story so we can encourage some others that may be struggling, that may not have the faith that you have, that may have some fears, that may have some reservations and concerns about it. Let them know how you walk through this thing.
Oh my goodness. Well, like you said, my cancers were cervical and colon cancer. I was diagnosed September the 19th, 1990. I was 20 years old.
Wow.
In Fort Worth, Texas, at John Peter Smith Hospital. I had went in for a PEP. And they called with the results of that PEP and for us to come in. And they asked for me to bring family with me. And so my mother came with me, and also my now husband. But at that time, we were not in a relationship together. He was just a young minister that my mom had met. And there were 7 doctors seated around the table at John Peter Smith Hospital. And for people that are familiar with Fort Worth, Texas, you know that is the main hospital in Fort Worth, Texas. And so my main doctor was Dr. Gina Greer. And they then proceeded to tell my mother and myself that I was in stage 3 cervical cancer. And if you know the history of cancer, when you get to a stage 3 and a stage 4, it is very critical. It is very serious. And they began to tell my mother, which was an evangelist, a woman of faith, but at that time she was not dealing with faith. She had gotten weary because I'm her only daughter. She only gave birth to 2 children. And so they told her, they said, there's nothing else that we can do. The cancer has just really begun to eat up her body. And so my now husband said to them, and I was really angry, he says, oh no, she shall not die. She shall live and declare the works of the Lord, because the Lord said that's my wife, and he's not going to give me a dead wife. And I'm looking at my mama like, why did you bring this flathead man here? And these people talking about I'm getting ready to die, and he's talking about a wife. But at that time, he did speak life, you know, into me. And so this was 1990, February. They immediately started me in October with chemo. And I went through a very rigorous thing of chemo. And it just seemed like that the chemo just was not doing what it needed to do. So then we decided to do a hysterectomy at the age of 20. I'm 20 years old. And it was February the 9th, 1991.
Wow.
John Peter Smith Hospital again. And I went down for my test 3 times. My mother didn't understand, and so she asked the nurse, she says, why do you keep sending her down for the same test 3 times? You know, she's ready for the surgery. And the nurse said, well, I'm going to let Dr. Greer come in, and she's going to explain it to you. It's very important to have a doctor that believes in God.
Yes.
Because I was a young woman. I knew about God, but I was not saved. I was straddling. You know, I would go to church, but I still was dipping in the club.
You were 20 years old.
I was 20 years old. And so Dr. Greer came in, and she was a Caucasian lady, and she came in, but she was very, very, very charismatic with the Holy Spirit. And she came in, and she was dancing, and she was like, we don't see any cancer.
Hallelujah.
We don't see any cancer. We can't find it. We can't find it. We can't locate what we need to do because it's just not there. And I know a lot of people are saying that's a myth. It's not true, but it is true. My medical records prove that it is true. But the enemy was not satisfied. The enemy was upset. And so that was in 1991. So then when me and my now young anointed minister decided to get married, the enemy says, well, you won't be able to have children because the cancer, the previous cancer, has just eaten up your uterus, and it had little bitty holes in it like mice had been eating at
like
my
Swiss
uterus.
Cheese, like Swiss cheese.
That exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this can't be. I said, because God doesn't do a half job, and he's not going to not allow this union to be blessed. And so they just continued to say that I couldn't have children. But December the 25th, 1993, I had an 8-pound, 11-ounce baby boy with a uterus that was ate up, and they didn't understand how he stayed lubricated. They just didn't understand. And then February the 12th, 1995, I had a baby girl, but the enemy was mad.
Yes.
So in 1996, I started getting sick again. I started having the symptoms. Things started coming back, and it just, my whole face and skin began to change. And I didn't understand, and I didn't go to the doctor because I was fearful. I didn't want to hear what the doctor had to say. I didn't want them to tell me that that cancer was back. And so from 96 all the way up into 99, I would just go to, like the hospital for the throwing up or something, and they would be like, well, we have to do a cancer screen. And I was like, oh no, I'm okay. No, we don't have to do cancer screen. So in 2003, I moved here to New Orleans, Louisiana with my husband so that he could come and start his ministry. And I was working at Marrero Healthcare, and I still began to get sick. And in 2005, when we got ready to evacuate for Hurricane Katrina, they finally were able to get me into the hospital to tell me that the cervical cancer was back. And that it was more serious. It was just strong. It was more aggressive. And the doctors were like, you have children, you have 4 children. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take everything out. And you have to be careful, because what happened is, again, in February 2005, I was diagnosed with a very, very serious cancer, which is cervical cancer. And I had my surgery, and they gave me a partial hysterectomy. Then in May of 2005, they had to come back and complete the hysterectomy. In that situation, that is when the cancer cells attach themselves to my colon. My doctor then was Dr. Keith Kessler and Dr. Vu Vong. And they said that when they opened me up and when the air hit, the cells just went everywhere, and they attached themselves to my colon. And so in 2006, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And they said that the colon cancer was so severe that I would have to get a colostomy bag. But as you can see, God is a healer.
Yes, he is.
So in 2006, they said, you have to get the colostomy bag. There's nothing else we can do. And my mother-in-law, which was my Naomi, Barbara Stamps.
Everybody needs a Naomi.
Oh, that was mine.
Yes,
that was mine.
yes.
And she was like, oh, no, you too busy. You in the ministry. You can't. No, we denounced that. We're not.
Yes.
And so Dr. Danny Burnhill came out of retirement. Thank you, Jesus. He was actually a professor at LSU. And he came out of retirement to do my surgery, because at that time I was part of the East Jefferson Community Health Center. And Dr. Andoni had became our medical director. And because of the symptoms I was having, he said that I have the person that can do your surgery. And so they admitted me into East Jefferson Hospital. And when they admitted me into East Jefferson Hospital, they said, oh, no, wait, we can't do surgery because it's just too far gone. It's just too far gone. We're going to have to do the colostomy bag. And again, my mother-in-law began to pray. Pastor Donald Jones and all of them, they began to pray, and they were like, no, she's not getting a colostomy bag. And so what they did is they transferred me to Touro Hospital because East Jefferson could not do the surgery that I needed done. And so they transferred me to Touro Hospital April the 28th. 2006. I remember these dates because it's God. It's God.
Good.
And they cut 6.5 centimeters of my colon. They cut me from my descending to my transver. And when you actually look at the colon, a picture of the colon, you would say, well, 6.5 centimeters is not a lot, but it is. Because now the only part of my colon that I have left is the ascending part of my colon. Okay. And so they did that and they said, well, we believe that we have it all. And so I still went into chemo because they just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. Okay, that's 3 times with cancer. 3 times. Well, they thought they had it all, but they didn't have it all.
Okay.
So then when the cancer began to get aggressive, I was in stage 4. I was in stage 4.
And what year was this?
And this was 2007.
Okay.
I was in stage 4. I lost all of my hair, really, really little. People don't even understand that I walked away literally from the hospice bed. And when I say that, because they told me that I needed to either get the colostomy bag or artificial colon. And I said I didn't want either one of those. And they said, if you don't, you won't live to see your baby girl graduate. And I said, well, if I don't live to see her graduate, then it was in God's will. But I'm not going to get the colostomy. I'm not. And they said, well, we went in the hospital. I came out. They said, there's nothing else that we can do. So they put me on hospice.
And stage 4 on hospice, triple cancer, from cervical cancer to colon cancer.
Yes.
And doing a partial hysterectomy, then coming back wanting to do the other portion, but could not do it because they saw that it was too far gone.
It was too far gone.
Transferred you to another hospital. And that was the outcome where they were at this point.
This is where we are.
And you said, no, I still don't want either.
No.
And what did you do at that time?
I said, I still don't want either. And they were like, well, we're going to have to put her on hospice. Now, listen to me when I say this, because I tell my story wherever I go, because I'm not ashamed of it. My hospice nurse is Miss Jennifer Lewis. She's 76 years old right now. And she tells people all the time that she's only witnessed 2 people walked away from the hospice bed. I literally had the death rattle. They told my family that within 48 hours, I would be gone.
A miracle sitting right in the room.
Between that 48th hour and midnight, God showed up. They asked all of my family to come around. When they got back in that day, I was sitting up asking for some grits.
Oh my God.
They didn't understand. My skin had begun to turn purple. I had everything.
Jesus.
Death was there. But God said no.
God said no. God said no. And see, and that's why I wanted to bring this forth on today, just to go forth as cancer as a whole. We're taking war on cancer,
yes.
you know, and we're no longer going to sit down and remain silent in the room of depression and anxiety and fear, but we're going to war on cancer. You can
yes.
take your life back.
Oh, yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Activate your faith. Go to war and say enough is enough, but you cannot go any further, that I no longer am going to struggle with this battle of cancer. We're getting ready to go in commercial break. This is a phenomenal story. I hope you're tuned in loud and clear on today. Go share this story with someone else to encourage and to strengthen someone else that may be battling right now. War on Cancer with Dr. Glenda Williams,
yes.
live on Real Talk with Mary Jae. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
And I want to encourage you to join Church Without Walls every Monday morning from 11 a.m. to 12 noon.
And we want to encourage you to promote God's plan and not man's plan. Don't you dare miss it.
Hello, this is Dr. Glenda E. Williams.
This is Charles Stewart.
Dr. Anthony Williams.
Are you looking for a hall to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on a golf course that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Oh, how the time flies. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best of literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. See you there.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary Jae. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary Jae on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary Jae at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned in to New Orleans Talk Network. Again from our commercial break. I hope you've been tuned in. You continue to hear a phenomenal story. We're kicking cancer in the butt. Yes, we're taking war on cancer. We're mad about it because we know that the devil, he keeps coming, but guess what? We're not giving up. We're not stopping. We're not going to quit. Dr. Glenda Williams is here on today to share her incredible story as it relates to cancer, being a breast cancer, cervical cancer, as well as a colon cancer survivor. Survivor of three times. Wow. I mean, you know, I just wanted to bring your story because we have so many people that walk in fear, that may feel something, and I don't know what it is. I guess it's our human nature that we feel it, we think it, we doubt it, but we don't want to know about it.
Yes.
So I'm so glad that you went forward to do all that you knew how to do, to activate your faith, to go before God in prayer, and to believe that you're going to come out of this thing and to fight it.
Yes.
To fight it to the end. So you talked about your journey with your husband at the time at age 20.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, at 20 years old. And you were first diagnosed at age 20, and it was at a stage 3 already at that point. Now let me ask you this question, because for so many that do not do their examinations at age 20, were you doing annual examinations?
Actually, that was my first. Mm-hmm. That was my first exam, and actually the doctors told me that if I have had one when I was 17, then they probably would have discovered it. Yes.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important, because see, we get so many other understandings. I know the elderly, you know, the older people, they don't think that you need to go to a gynecologist.
No.
Or they think that once you've had a baby, then you can go.
Yes.
Or, you know, or if you're on birth control pills, then you should go.
Yes.
But you really should start going as early as you can as a teen.
Yes.
Especially if there was some history. Was there any type of history background in your family of cancer?
Yes, my dad's mother had cervical cancer, and my mother had breast cancer.
Okay.
So, and both of them did not win their battles with it. So, and I had two cousins that died with cervical cancer. So the history was there.
Right.
But being a young woman and just, just
Right,
in your
not
own
thinking
little
about
world,
that.
not thinking
Right,
about it.
right,
Not
right.
thinking about it. And then when I did, actually, the first thing came to my mind, I should have never went and took that test.
Yes, yes. Yeah, as though taking it now and knowing it wouldn't have existed otherwise. A lot of people do say that. They think that, oh my God, see, when I wasn't going to the doctor, I was doing all right until I started going, and now I'm having all these problems, right? But the problems are along the way, but we just don't know that they're there.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
So let's talk about it now. After discovering that you had cervical cancer, overcoming that, going in, you mentioned that when they went into do the surgery, they saw that it had spread it from your cervix to your colon.
To my colon.
Yes.
The cells itself had attached themselves to my colon, and once they attached themselves to my colon, it was like wildfire. They just went crazy and just took the colon over. And so that was 3 times that I speak about cancer.
Yes.
But there was a 4th time because I am a 4-time cancer survivor. And what happened is that in the year of 2011, I was taking care of my mother-in-law, and she was ill. She had honeycomb lung disease. And December of 2011, she looked at me and she said, that cancer is back. And I said, oh no, I'm fine, I'm good. And she was like, you need to go to the doctor. And I'm like, no, there I am again, don't want to go to the doctor because I don't want to hear what they have to say. And she says, you need to go to the doctor. And I said, no, I need to do what I'm doing, and that is to take care of you. In March of 2012, she left and went on to Glory. March of 2012.
Your Naomi.
Yes, she went on to Glory, my best friend, actually my best friend. And when she left and went on to Glory, I was working in Independence, Louisiana at a clinic called Multi-Practice, and I was the behavior coordinator there. One day I just felt some pain in my chest, and I went down and they sent me to the hospital in Lacombe, and I had a heart attack. And I tell everyone, but that heart attack was another miracle. Because when I got to the hospital there in Lacombe, they told me that they were going to allow an oncologist to come and speak with me. And then he walked in and he was like, I don't know, but are you aware that you're dealing with colon cancer? And I was like, oh yeah, I know. Because I was having the symptoms. I already knew it was bad, but I just didn't want them to tell me it was bad.
Yes.
And even when my mother-in-law told me, I was like, okay. And so when we got back down here, I went back to see Dr. Keith Kessler, and we started doing everything that we needed to do. Again, they just won't be with this colostomy bag for some reason. And so again, they tell me that I have to get a colostomy bag, and I'm like, no. And it's like, you're going to have to, because now all I have nothing else in my colon for them to cut. Okay. All I have is the ascending part, which goes into the rectum. So there's nothing else for them to cut. And I'm like, no. And so they say, well, you're going to have to do chemo. Well, First Lady Gwen Jones and all of them can tell you I was very stubborn, very, very stubborn. And I said, I'm not taking any more chemo. I'm tired of chemo. I don't have no veins. They have to go in my neck. They have to go. I'm not taking any more chemo. I turned in my morphine injections to Walgreens because, if someone would have broken into my house and used them, then I would have been liable because of the serial numbers. I took the pills, the Dilaudid, because they always tell cancer patients that if you can't pronounce Dilaudid, just say the Lord, and then the doctors will know what you're asking for. And so I turned in the Lord. I turned that in, and I got rid of the Demerol. I've got rid of the Finikin. I got rid of the morphine. I took all of my pill bottles, and I had 3 pill bottles. One was take 1 a day. One was take 2 a day, one was take 3 a day. I typed up healing scriptures, and I filled those pill bottles with healing scriptures. And when I would have pain, I would go to one of those bottles. And if it was a real bad day, I would go to the one that say take 3 a day. But then I was also...
That's awesome.
That's
an awesome strategy.
Oh, I had to, because
that's an awesome strategy
understood that now,
Speaking
and I'm not
word.
telling you not to go to your doctors. I'm not telling you not to do what your doctor said. This was a faith walk between me and God. This was personal. And in that time, 2012, I had also become the founding chair of the National Congress of Black Women. So now I'm leading these women and dealing with cancer. But I had some praying women in that organization that charted with me in that organization, and they just began to pray. And one of them, by the name of Judge Michelle P. Holmes, she spoke life into me. She kept saying, "You're not dying," because they said I was, and "You're not dying. You're going to be here." And so what happened is with that, with the healing scriptures and everything, I was able to, with the National Congress of Black Women, to get introduced to Mr. Dick Gregory. And a lot of people are familiar with Mr. Dick Gregory. He was an activist, and he was also a comedian. And so he told Dr. Ife Williams, he says, "I'm going to help this girl do some natural healing, with this. She's going to beat this thing again." And so I started doing black strap molasses, and you can only order it offline. I started doing that every morning with lemon juice. I started taking the real coconuts and shaving the shells and boiling the shells and drinking the broth. I also used tomato paste and boiled down cloves, which he told me, and it made a paste. And I would put the paste in my colon area. When I went back to my oncologist, he says, "I don't know whatever you're doing because it's unorthodox, but keep doing it." He says, "Because the last cancer screen showed that you were in remission." I told him, "I'm not in remission, because remission means that it can come back. But when you're healed, God does not do a half job." And so I understand that God allowed me to go through cancer 4 times because I can be able to tell someone that the enemy and society would have you to think that he still doesn't work miracles. But he works miracles, because when I wake up in the morning and I look at my reflection staring back at me, I'm evidence that he still works miracles.
A miracle. A miracle. Oh, yes. I love it. I love it. And sitting here and I'm looking at you and you're glowing, this beautiful skin.
Thank you.
That went from purple to caramel.
Yes, it did.
God is so good.
Yes,
He is so good. So you had this faith walk, and I'm so glad that you let our audience know, our listeners know, that it's a personal thing, that it's a faith walk. It's an individual step of faith.
Yes, it is.
So whatever God is saying to someone else, they're to follow that unction of where God is leading them. Of course, to follow the instructions of your physicians, your health physicians as well. But your story, Glenda, is so unique, to go from 20 years old, 20 years old, being diagnosed. First time going to the doctor.
Yes, correct.
And finding out that you're in stage 3.
Stage 3. Not stage 1, not stage 2. Stage 3.
Cervical cancer.
Yes.
And I hear stories so often how these cancer cells would just jump around and go from one organ to the next. I met a man via Facebook, Dr. Eric Griggs, who explained it so plainly when he spoke about how the cancer cells are in your body and they're alien. And I'm paraphrasing in his words, but I'm getting this as close as I can to the illustration example. The cancer cells are in your body, and they know they don't belong there.
Yes.
So it's this foreign alien that's in your body.
Yes.
And now the cell has attached itself, this abnormal cell, and it's fighting to find its way out of the body.
Yes.
So in fighting its way out of the body, it doesn't know the direction to take. So now it's just jumping around, and if it's ongoing and not detected, and it still lingers, it's just going to jump around to the next spot, to the next organ, because it's trying to find its way out. So that's what happened, it sounds, in your case, going from your cervix to your colon.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what happened. And unfortunately, you also have to watch your stress level. Because when I was diagnosed with the colon cancer, I was hoarse for 6 months and did not understand. And being a preacher and also being a singer, and then you're trying everything to get rid of this that's going on with your voice. And the doctor said, "We're going to do a cancer screen." And when they did the cancer screen, I tested positive. And so you have to be careful. You have to pay attention to different things, because it may be something normal that you feel like, oh, this is sinus or this, but it could actually be something much more. And so I didn't realize that.
That's good information.
Yes. You definitely have to be careful, and also with your stress level. Because from what I'm being told from my oncologist is that in 2012, the cancer cells themselves was activated because I had such high stress level on me. Wow. And so now the cancer is actually sitting in that little part of my colon that I have left. It's not activated, it's not doing anything, but it's just sitting there. And so at any time, the devil would want me to believe that, oh, I can activate it anytime I want to, but I'm covered.
Amen. Under the blood. Under the blood.
I'm covered.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know, when we talk about taking care of our bodies, understanding what we put into our bodies, you know, I've just recently discovered that HPV, human papilloma, virus is a virus that is caused by sexual transmitted disease. It is. And for those who have multiple partners that continue to have sex, not caring, not understanding, because now, you know, a lot of times we protect ourselves with the condom. We have sex to prevent pregnancies. We have sex to prevent STDs. But they have human papilloma virus that is a skin-to-skin contact.
Yes, it is.
And it doesn't have to, I understand that even with the condom on, just because there's still skin contact from other parts,
you can catch it.
You can catch HPV.
Yes.
And it's something that they're actually testing teens now as young as 12 years old, 11 years old, preteens are being having this
because they're having sex
immunization shot. Yes. Because they're starting so much earlier now.
Yes, they are.
So it's so important that we bring you this information, because we want to educate you, empower you, and to strengthen you. Knowledge is power.
Yes, it is.
And when you know your body and you understand there's things that you must do, get your annual examinations, get your pelvic exams, get your pap smears, do your mammograms, get it done, ladies, get it done. And to our gentlemen, have a PCP that you can go into annually to have the checkup. You know, so if you're having any problems, I tell people any problems, listen, your body tells you everything.
Oh, yes, it does.
If there's any indication that something is out of whack, I don't care if you're fatigued, if you're tired, if you have headaches continuously, whatever it is, if you're stressing, and stress alone can tear the body down.
Oh, yes, it can.
Yes.
It will mess with every organ in your body.
Right.
Stress.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
That we have to take control of that.
Yes.
So, Dr. G, tell the people some things that you believe that they can do in order to combat this spirit of cancer, combat these ugly cells that will attach itself to our body. What steps can they take as it relates to their health, eating right, so on and so forth?
Oh, definitely eating right, because I definitely had to change my eating habits. And like I said, again, I thank Mr. Dick Gregory for that. You definitely have to eat the things that you need to eat. And not only that, but pay attention to your body. Pay attention to the signs, because like she said, the body's going to tell you. The body's going to tell you. And what happened is not only that, also pay attention to the voice of God. When God instructs you to move, then you need to move. And be prayerful. Be prayerful and cover your body. One thing that I do, and I know that this is not for everyone, but I use the Bless Oil as my lotion. And I put it on and I cover my body. I pray over it and I cover my body every day, because this is where the enemy will come. He will attack our body, because if we are not healthy, then we cannot do the work of ministry.
That's right. Absolutely. Cannot do it. And that's why the devil was mad about it, because God has a work in you to be done.
Thank you, Jesus.
And he's trying to hinder it. He's trying to block it and stop it, but he can't do it. No weapon formed against you will prosper. None, not a one.
Yes.
You know, so God always have the last say.
Yes.
He's always going to prove himself mightily.
Yes.
On our behalf.
Yes.
I just love the fact that you just came in to share your story.
Thank you.
I know that it's going to help bless and empower and encourage so many people.
Thank you.
From all walks of life. Ladies, get our examinations done. Get them done early.
Yes.
I would tell you to abstain from sexual intercourse outside of marriage. Please abstain from it. You just don't know. If you have teenage daughters and teenagers alone, just have them to talk to their pediatrician, to go to their pediatrician and find out what is HPV.
Yes.
Because I had no idea what HPV was. I actually heard a young lady on Facebook talking about HPV, and it just hardened my heart because she encountered this virus and she was not understanding how she encountered it because she was married and she had this HPV, and she was stating that her husband and she married and they both were virgins. And so she was really reaching out for some answers because the doctor told her that you can only get it through sex. And she could not understand how she got it because she believed that her husband was faithful to her.
Yes.
But she was crying out for help, and my heart just went out to her because it's real.
Yes,
you know,
it
and the thing about it, HPV is something that you don't have to be with the partner that you're presently with.
That's it.
That will give it to you. You could have had it from your previous partner, previous relationship, and now here you are a year, 2, 3 years later, and you're thinking that the person that you're with now have given you that, and it could have come from someone else. Oh, it is so ugly.
Yes, it's
That's
very
why
ugly.
we have to guard our bodies. We have to guard our temples. Your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. It's the only one you have. You have to be a good steward over your body. Let's stay away from the processed food as much as we can. Stay away from that. Stay away from the sugars and the sodas. Go and get your annual examinations.
Do it.
Do it. Yes, do it. Do not delay.
Especially African American community.
Yes, because it's running rapidly throughout our African community. So we want to make sure that all of our African Americans make sure that you are getting your examinations. You're following up with your PCP. You're following up, ladies, with your gynecologist, with your obstetrician. Make sure we have that done. Okay, I hope you were empowered on today. You tuned in to Real Talk with Mary Jae. We're out of time. Dr. G, did you have a happy Merry Monday
Yes, I
today?
did.
I am so glad that you did. So glad that you're here to share a wealth of information with us. Your testimony is phenomenal, and I know that it's reaching someone right where they are. So if you're struggling today, if you're battling any type of cancer, know that you are a victor. You are an overcomer. You can beat this thing. We're going to war on cancer. We're going to kick cancer right in the butt. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network.